Hey everyone, we are just waiting for folks to come in. We're going to give it just another 30 seconds to a minute and then we'll get started.
Just as everyone's coming in, I'll say hi, I'm Alexi Neal, and I'm going to be guiding our It's About Embodiment experience today for you all.
I can see people are starting to stream in, so I think we'll go ahead and get started here in just a few seconds. All right, and since I'm starting with the boring stuff, we'll go ahead and get that going so we can get to the good stuff from Alexi here in just a minute. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. I'm going to go through those tech logistics before we go. So just a quick note that people of all genders are welcome and may be in this session, just so you all know that. However, we are in webinar feature, which means that cameras are off. So hopefully you can feel safe to be here and engage in this practice tonight because you will not be seen nor part of the recording. Speaking of that, we are recording this session. As you may already be aware, we are making all of these available to folks who may not be able to make it to our live sessions. So if you want to go through this again or share it with a friend later, you will be able to do that. We also have an ASL interpreter, as you can see on the screen here, hopefully. If you can't, please let us know, because if you need that service, we certainly want to make sure it's available to you. Feedback about the interpretation tonight is welcome and encouraged. We know it's a little difficult to have ASL interpretation for something like a yoga class. We think we've got a good fit tonight, but certainly if you have any feedback on that we could do better for the following sessions, we'd love to hear it. Feel free to use the chat feature to talk with one another. And right now, if you're comfortable, go ahead and enter your name and where you're joining us from so we can know who's in the room. If you'd like to submit a question or a comment to Alexi, our presenter, or to any of us Wings people who are doing the tech stuff in the back end, please do so through the Q&A function. We'll do our best to get a reply to you. Speaking of that, Julia, who is our tech support, is on the back end to make sure things run smoothly tonight. So if you are having any particular issues with Zoom, please send a message to her and we'll make sure that she gets that and can do her best to help you. So my name is Melissa Henshin. I am the Manager of Outreach and Community Engagement here at Wings, and thrilled to be here with you tonight for the third virtual session in this year's annual Race for Healing. We are honored and grateful that you are choosing to give this session your most precious asset, which is your time. And that's the theme of this year's Race for Healing. It's about time. So thank you again, and let's get to the good stuff. I'm going to turn things over to our presenter for this session, Alexi Neal of Neal Counseling and Yoga Therapy. Thank you so much for being with us, Alexi.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's so great to be here with you all today. And I'll just say a little bit about yoga therapy as opposed to what you may have seen in yoga classes before. The intention is to develop a closer relationship with ourselves through these practices, and not necessarily to create any particular shape in our bodies or to achieve anything in particular, although certainly flexibility and strength may be a result of doing embodied practices. We just shift the focus from trying to attain those things to going inward and connecting more deeply with ourselves. So on that note, I'm not actually going to demo anything, because as we get into this practice together, I don't want you to be looking to see what it looks like in my body, because that's all it would be, is how my body interprets the possibility of these shapes. And I want to instead give you all the space that you need for your body to be the way that it is, with the cues that I will be giving. And so with that, our first session tonight, and now if you're only doing one, that's fantastic. They can totally stand alone. Or if you do all three, there will be a slight sense of building on the themes. But what we're going to be working with tonight is just this first sense of befriending our bodies, which is that willingness to turn towards our bodies and check in and really see what's happening there, as well as cultivating awareness of what's happening. So those kind of go hand in hand, right? There's this sense of a loving investigation of what's really happening with us in any given moment that can be so powerfully helpful in our healing process, that can really serve us in not only understanding ourselves more deeply, but transforming the experiences that we have throughout our lives into growth and into a positive and warm sense of embodiment. And what it even means to be embodied is just something that's so personal and so unique to each one of us. And so I want to really encourage you to be in that, that range of relationship in a way that feels authentic. You know, we're not going to say here that like, you have to love your body. No, but we are partners with our bodies, right? So, yeah, we're going to leave it there. And just as sort of a blanket thing, everything in this process has choice. Absolutely everything has choice. You do not need to feel like you need to do exactly what I'm saying to do, especially if it causes pain in your body. But even if it just doesn't feel like something that you feel like doing right now, you know, I think that's one of the gifts of being off camera in this webinar format, is that this time is 100% about you. So let's dive in. So I'll invite you, if it feels good in your body, to stand up and to find your feet underneath you and to really take a moment to feel your feet there. Yeah, and maybe there's a slight rocking forward and back that can happen as you begin to sense into the foundation of your body, feeling the texture of whatever you're standing on. Maybe a little side to side now, testing balance one way and then the other. And then finding center, what really feels like center for you. And starting right here with allowing what it feels like in your body to be your guide. We're going to start to bring some twists into the body. So letting your arms dangle heavily by your sides. Just start to turn your torso one way and then another, and letting your arms be really heavy as though they were empty shirt sleeves, just swinging side to side. And now start to find your breath and connect the breath to the movement. Maybe inhaling one way, exhaling another, or just finding a rhythm that works in your body, that works with your breath as it is right now. We're not trying to control things too much. Allowing the body to find its rhythm and noting, perhaps, bringing that awareness in. If there's an inkling to go fast or to go slow, and maybe you experiment finding the pace that feels right for your body for 3 more breaths. And then eventually finding your way back to stillness. And now with your breath in, you're going to take your arms out to your sides, straight out from your shoulders, reaching in both directions, letting your heart get wide. And then as you exhale, let the arms come forward, wrapping them around your body and allowing your hands to come somewhere on your body. And now we'll flow with the breath here, inhaling to open and exhaling to curl in. Now again here, noticing your own urging to make this bigger, to make it smaller, to adapt it in some way. You are doing it right if you have sensation in your body and you're breathing. So you can let the mind trying to jump in, is this what she means? You can just let it stand off to the side and feel. Inhaling and opening. Exhaling, curling in. Let's do 2 more like that. And then again, finding your center, letting your arms come down by your sides, settling into your feet. And now take a few breaths as though you could breathe all the way down into the soles of your feet, noticing sensation through your whole body, allowing your body to expand in all directions as you inhale and to soften as you exhale. And maybe the breath starts to fall out the mouth a little bit. You know, no one can hear you. You're in your own home. Maybe there's a sense of a sigh as you exhale. Yeah, now inhale and reach your arms up alongside your ears. Take a really deep breath in. Reach as high as you can go. And then exhale, let the arms flop heavily by your sides. And then inhale and reach up again, extending the hands up towards the sky. Exhale, let them go. Now continue this, finding the rhythm in your breath. And again, if it feels okay to let that exhale come out your mouth, even with a little sound behind it, just see what that creates. Just finding that awareness. What does that do as you drop into your rhythm here? And now if you want to stay with just the arms lifting and lowering, totally can. Or you can start to bring your upper body into it, folding all the way forward on the breath out. And then inhaling to come all the way back up again. And then exhaling, falling all the way forward. And again, just dropping into your rhythm, your way of being with the possibilities of this movement. And simply noticing, just noticing exactly as your body is, how this feels for 3 more rounds of breath. And with your next inhale, finding your way back up to standing. Arms down by your sides. Eyes can be open or closed. Just being here for a moment and noticing. And with your next inhale, reach your arms back up alongside your ears. And interlace your fingers, all of them except your index finger. That's going to extend straight up towards the ceiling. As you reach through the arms, getting longer through the side bodies, just noticing your experience of length. And with your next exhale, you're going to start to hinge over to the right, reaching for where the ceiling and wall meet on the right side of your body. Now we're going to stay here for a few breaths, and I'll invite you to get curious about the sensations being created in your body right now, and looking for a place, what we call the edge, where there's sensation, and it's strong enough sensation to kind of capture your awareness, but we haven't crossed the line into pain. We're in a place where it still feels good in our bodies. And when you found that edge point, getting curious about how you experience edge. left side of your body's sensation, the right side of your body's sensation. Just noticing without judgment. One more deep breath here. And then with your next inhale, you can make your way back up to standing and let your arms drop down by your sides for a moment. Let them rest. Yeah. And if you ever notice any urges in your body to kind of wiggle or shift in some way as we release a posture, follow that. Follow that wisdom. And inhaling, reach your arms back up overhead. Finding that interlace in your fingers, extending index fingers straight up towards the ceiling. And then on a breath out, you'll start to hinge over to the left. Again, finding where ceiling and wall meet, but more than aiming for a particular place, listening to your own body's guidance about how far you hinge. And if this side is different from the other side, let it be different. Let the sensation be different. Let the edge be different. Allow yourself to sit in a pure awareness. This is what is right now in my body, and feel it. Nothing to do but feel it for one more deep breath. And then slowly, when you're ready, come back up to standing and let your arms settle back down by your sides. You can invite a deep breath in through your nose, breath out your mouth. And now slowly start to hinge forward from your hips. If your feet aren't already about hips width distance apart, wiggle them out so that you've got a nice solid base. And as you hinge forward, allowing your knees to bend. Depending on your low back, they may bend just a little. They may want to bend quite a bit in order to create a sense of ease in the low back. Find a space where your upper body can drop towards the ground, drop into that force of gravity, maybe even letting the head go if that feels okay. And breathing here. Allowing your breath now to be a guide towards your edge. You may find your edge lifted a little higher, maybe even with your hands on some sort of support. You may find your edge wrapping your hands around the backs of your legs. There's so many possibilities of how your body could best experience this shape. And so I want to invite you to take a few moments to really inquire, how could I open to the invitation of this shape more? What might my body need to support me in moving towards that opening? And now stay and breathe. Let the sensations in your body and this breath be an anchor to keep coming back to again and again. Not judging your mind for creating thoughts, for pulling you away, but simply when you notice, you come back, breath and body, right here, right now. 3 more breaths. And when those 3 breaths are complete for you, I'll invite you to make your way down to the ground, laying on your belly. And as you make your way there, feel free to grab a pillow, grab a blanket, grab whatever you need to support yourself in landing there without pain. And let's take a moment to just lay. It's kind of rare in our world that we take a moment to just lay here before we move on to anything else. Let's be in this in-between space. And notice what it's like for you in that in-between space. And now slowly bring your hands underneath your shoulders, palms flat on the ground. With an inhale, lift just your head away from the ground. Forehead and gaze still looking down, but just lifting your head slightly. The slight engagement. Let your awareness dive into wherever there is sensation in your body. And then with another breath in, you'll lift just a little bit higher. Your shoulders, maybe a little bit of your chest coming off the ground, but maybe not quite finding your edge yet. Another little in-between space. Something to be aware of here. Breathing into it. And now with this breath, you can start to engage into your edge. Maybe you press into your hands. Maybe you lift your chest off of the ground. Maybe you stay low. Honor where your edge is. This is not about getting anywhere except to where you experience something in your body. And your edge might change in this shape. You may find that it's there and then suddenly you're past it and you need to release, or maybe there's more expansion that wants to happen. We're here for 3 more breaths. Feel free to play with that. And then when those 3 breaths are complete for you, you can release. And again, come to just laying on the ground, maybe letting one cheek come onto the mat, perhaps even a breath falling out your mouth. And now start to make your way over onto your back. If you'd like to bend your knees and bring the soles of your feet to the ground, that can relieve some pressure on your lower back. Or in your body, if it feels good to extend your legs out long. Arms can rest a comfortable distance away from your body, down by your sides. Palms facing up, if that feels good. And now even the effort that you have put into tracking your experience, to tracking your breath, to paying attention, to befriending your body, even that effort, we'll let it go. And let this be just a minute or 2 of completely effortless space. Letting go of any sense of ambition nothing to achieve here. We're just going to be. Now, let your hands come somewhere on your body, wherever you want to make contact with yourself. Feel into that point of contact, the texture of your skin or clothing on your palms, the feel of the pressure of your hands. And invite the wise part of you, the part that is connected to all that is, the part that listens to your body, this part that we all have within us. Invite that part to come forward right now and perhaps share with you what really matters in your life right now. And trust whatever arises here, knowing that it is coming from this embodied space. What really matters. And based on what really matters right now, is there something that you want to do to support yourself in moving towards that? To let your body be a compass. When it feels like you've heard what this wise self would like you to know right now, I'll invite you to wiggle and stretch and embrace any movement that wants to come into your body. And start to find your way back up to sitting. I want to give a huge thank you to all of you who are here right now and all of you who will watch this recording. Part of the reason why I do this work is because I really believe that the world needs us, embodied and connected. And so I thank you for being a part of that transformation. Your healing matters. If this work interests you, Julia is going to pop into the chat a link to a group that I will be running starting next month. This is an inclusive group for anyone who identifies as a woman. And so if you would like to be a part of that, or if you're interested in future groups, feel free to connect through that link as well. And I'll pass it back off to Melissa to close. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Alexi. I know I'm feeling much more relaxed than I was 30 minutes ago. Really appreciate you providing this session for us and the two that are upcoming. And thank you again to everyone who's joined us today. I want to acknowledge you for your presence and the courage that it can take to heal and to engage in healing practices. Our intention in sharing these skills and information with you is so that you can learn ways to stand with survivors by engaging in activities to learn about childhood sexual abuse and to understand more about the healing process, and engage in activities that promote the mind, body, spirit connection and help build your own individual resilience and our collective resilience in the world. Together, we are creating a world where survivors of childhood sexual abuse can be seen, heard, honored, and supported. We honor you and thank you for joining us in this discussion and this yoga session, Embodiment, and hope that you choose to continue participating in Race for Healing activities this month. Tune in on Thursday for part 2 of It's About Embodiment with Alexi, 6 p.m. And the third session will be Saturday at 10 a.m. And this week we also have It's About Nutrition with Stephanie Small this Friday, September 11th at noon. And in the meantime, when you're not tuning in with us to these live sessions, we hope that you check out the Race for Healing resource page if you haven't already for other learning and healing ideas that you can be trying out and experiencing and learning about. Remember, all of your minutes count. And just today, we released a video on our website, and we'll also be sending it out in email and on social media about how to track your minutes. So if you've been having trouble putting that in the platform, watch that video and see if it helps. If it doesn't, or if you have any other questions or concerns, please email us at wings@wingsfound.org, and we'll help you as best we can. Thank you so much again for being here tonight. Have a wonderful evening.